Welcome to Headline Hub Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. A quiet crisis is unfolding across America's heartland. Canada, one of America's closest allies, has enacted a sweeping new trade law, the Fair Trade and Domestic Agricultural Security Act. This law slaps strict tariffs and barriers on U.S. agricultural imports, aiming to protect Canadian farmers. But here it feels like an economic declaration of war. For 7 key states, Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Illinois, this is an immediate threat to their way of life. Farmers already struggling with rising costs and unpredictable weather now face a devastating new layer of uncertainty. Supply chains built over decades are in chaos, trucks are turned away at the border, contracts canceled overnight. The ripple effect is everywhere, from the farm gate to the local diner, from the grain elevator to the county bank. A sense of betrayal hangs in the air, as if a trusted neighbor has suddenly locked the door. As we travel through these 7 states, we'll meet the people whose livelihoods are on the line. This is more than a trade dispute, it's a profound challenge to rural America's foundation. The question on everyone's mind: how will we weather this storm? Iowa is the king of corn, and much of its harvest flows north to Canada as ethanol, sweeteners, and animal feed. The new Canadian law has targeted these products with tariffs and quotas, slamming the door on a market worth hundreds of millions. At an ethanol plant near Des Moines, production lines have slowed, layoffs have begun, and tankers of ethanol sit idle. Plant manager David Chen says, 30% of our output went to Canada. That market vanished in a week. Down the road, 4th-generation farmer Maria Sanchez faces full grain bins and plummeting prices. We did everything right and now we're being punished, she says. The pain spreads. Grain co-ops cut hours, trucking companies have idle drivers, and local businesses see sales drop. The owner of a farm supply store reports a sharp decline in seed and fertilizer sales for next season. Fear is growing that this isn't a temporary setback, but a permanent shift. The intricate economic ecosystem built on corn is showing signs of collapse. For Iowa's families, the floor has dropped out from under them. The community problem is now a crisis. The golden harvest is in peril. Nebraska, America's cattle country, is reeling from Canada's new paper wall, a maze of inspections and certifications that have all but halted beef exports. At a meatpacking plant near Omaha, Supervisor Frank Miller says, "We have truckloads of prime beef we can't ship. If we can't move it, we lose it. Shifts are cut, overtime canceled, and jobs are at risk." On a Sandhills ranch, Tom Blackwood's cattle prices have dropped 15% in a month. Feedlots are full, packers aren't buying, and holding on costs money, he says. Margins are razor thin. A drop like this can wipe out a year's profit. The fallout ripples through small towns. Veterinarians, feed suppliers, and diners all feel the pinch. Nebraska ranchers pride themselves on quality, but now they're locked out of a key market by politics and paperwork. The frustration is palpable. The beef supply chain is in chaos. The economic pain is spreading far beyond the ranches and packing plants. For Nebraska, the market is on lockdown. The future is uncertain. Wisconsin's dairy industry, built on milk, cheese, and butter, has been hit with slashed cheese quotas and new milk protein regulations. Many farmers were already struggling, now some are pushed to the brink. On a family farm near Green Bay, Sarah Jensen says, "Our co-op just cut the price for milk again. We work 16 hours a day. Are we the last generation to farm here?" In Monroe, the cheese capital, factories have pallets of specialty cheese packaged for Canada, now unsellable. Factory owner Marco Bianchi says, "We invested millions for the Canadian market, now it's just sitting there." Cheesemakers lay off workers, equipment suppliers see sales plummet, and trucking companies scramble for contracts. The crisis is not just economic, but cultural. Dairy farming is Wisconsin's heritage. Every farm lost, every factory closed, tears at the state's identity. The uncertainty is unprecedented. The fabric of America's dairyland is fraying. The pain is deep and personal. Wisconsin faces a future filled with questions. The dairy crisis is real. Minnesota's powerhouse ag economy, soybeans and hogs, relies on Canada as a vital market. The new law imposes strict inspections on live hogs and tariffs on pork and soy-based foods. Hog farmer Mark Olson calls it a logistical nightmare. "Our trucks are held up for days, the stress is bad for the animals, and the cost is killing us." Canadian buyers are already looking elsewhere. Soybean farmers face canceled orders and falling prices as tariffs make their products uncompetitive. At a Mankato processing plant, reduced Canadian demand means less soybean buying from local farmers, creating a surplus and price collapse. The crisis ripples through small towns. Feed stores see sales drop, farmers delay payments, and local businesses struggle. The problem isn't a poor harvest, it's a market choked off by politics. For Minnesota's farmers, the path forward is unclear and fraught with peril. The economic anxiety is everywhere. The state's agricultural backbone is under threat, the future is uncertain. North Dakota's partnership with Canada has turned into a painful partition. The new law's import licensing and tariffs have made wheat sales nearly impossible. Farmer John Peterson near Portal points to a full grain silo. My buyer in Winnipeg canceled the day the law took effect. I'm stuck. The U.S. market is flooded, prices are terrible, and neighbors have become adversaries overnight. Canola farmers are also squeezed out by domestic content rules favoring Canadian crops. Many are left with a crop they can't sell profitably, forcing them to reconsider next year's planting. Border towns like Pembina and Portal are eerily quiet. Truck stops and customs brokers have lost business. The sense of betrayal is deep, longtime friends and partners now divided by regulations and tariffs. The blockade isn't made of steel, but its effect is just as powerful. The economic lifeblood of the region is choked off. North Dakota's future is clouded by uncertainty. The pain is acute and widespread. The partnership has become a crisis. South Dakota's strength has always been its diversity: corn, soybeans, wheat, cattle, and hogs. But the new Canadian law hits every sector at once, creating a multi-front crisis. Corn and soybean farmers face falling prices and shrinking demand. Wheat farmers lose a key buyer. Farmers who raise both crops and cattle are squeezed from all directions. Susan Miller near Pierre says, "Our soybean contract is barely break even and nobody wants to buy cattle. We've cut back on everything." The stress is constant, the desperation quiet but real. Rural communities are hollowing out. Equipment dealers see sales halt, grocery stores lose customers, and young people look elsewhere. The resilience of South Dakota's people is being tested like never before. Their diversified strategy, once a strength, now leaves them exposed. The trade war is being fought on all fronts. Illinois is both a top producer of corn and soybeans, and a hub for processing and manufacturing. The new Canadian law disrupts both farms and factories, hitting the state on multiple fronts. Food processing plants see Canadian orders vanish. In Decatur, shutdowns and layoffs loom. Factory worker Mike says, "First the farmers get hurt, then us. My overtime is gone and I might not pay my mortgage." The pain spreads to manufacturing, tractor and equipment makers face tariffs abroad and plummeting sales at home. The economic web is intricate and unforgiving. A trade dispute that starts in a field ends with a pink slip at a factory. Illinois' crisis shows this isn't just a rural problem, it's an American industrial problem. The impact is statewide, from farms to factories. The stakes are high for everyone. The stories from these 7 states paint a clear, grim picture. A single political decision has unleashed economic pain across America's heartland. This is not a theoretical debate, it's a crisis threatening millions of livelihoods and hollowing out rural communities. The immediate fallout: lost jobs, falling incomes, shuttered businesses. The long-term consequences: broken trust, shattered supply chains, and a shaken foundation for food security. Farmers face tough choices about what to plant, with no certainty about markets. The next generation is pushed away from agriculture. This crisis demands urgent answers and real support for those bearing the brunt. The strength of America has always been rooted in its heartland. As a northern storm gathers, the nation must decide how to protect its foundation, because their future, and ours, depends on it.